The Bird Who Changed Her Destiny, a powerful story about gratitude in a forest that had burned to ashes, where the trees stood black and broken like silent skeletons, and the ground was covered with gray dust and smoke. There lived a small sick bird. Once that forest had been full of life. Bright flowers used to bloom. Clear water flowed between the stones. And every morning birds sang as sunlight filled the sky. But one terrible fire destroyed everything. Now the forest was quiet, lonely, almost lifeless. And among the burned trees sat the little bird. Her feathers had fallen out. Her wings were weak and trembling. She could no longer fly. Every movement caused pain. She had no nest, no food, no water, only struggle. Sometimes she looked up at the sky and remembered the days when she used to fly high above the forest. She once dreamed of touching the clouds. She once dreamed of singing the sweetest song in the sky. But now even her voice had become weak and tired. Days passed in silence. Then one afternoon something unusual happened. A white pigeon flew across the sky. He looked peaceful and bright. His feathers shone in the sunlight like a small cloud moving through the air. The sick bird gathered the last bit of strength in her body. And she called softly, "Brother, please wait." The pigeon heard her voice and gently landed beside her. He looked at her with kind, curious eyes. "Sister," he said softly, "what happened to you? Why do you look so sad?" The little bird took a deep breath. Her voice trembled. "Where are you going?" The pigeon replied calmly. "I'm flying to heaven." When she heard those words, something sparkled in her tired eyes. Hope. She slowly folded her weak wings like hands in prayer. "Brother, if you are going to heaven, please ask God about me." The pigeon listened quietly. She continued, "My life is full of pain. Every day feels heavier than the one before. Please ask, when will my suffering end? When will my dark days turn into light?" The pigeon felt compassion in his heart. He nodded gently. "I promise you. I will ask." Then he spread his wings and flew high into the sky. Higher and higher until he reached the gates of heaven. At the entrance stood a shining angel. The pigeon bowed respectfully. "Dear angel," he said, "there is a little bird on earth. She is suffering greatly. She asked me to ask God when her pain will finally end." The angel opened a large golden book. It was the book of destiny. Slowly she turned the pages, searching for the little bird's name. After a moment the angel stopped. Her expression became serious. "The little bird," the angel said quietly, "has 10 more years of suffering written in her destiny." The pigeon's heart dropped. 10 years? He whispered. The angel nodded. 10 years of struggle. No comfort. No happiness. The pigeon felt deep sadness. "If I tell her this, it will destroy her hope," he said. "Is there any way to help her?" The angel slowly closed the book. "There is one way." The pigeon leaned forward. "What is it?" The angel said, "Tell her to say these words in every situation, no matter what happens. Thank you, God, for everything." The pigeon looked confused. "Even in pain?" The angel nodded. "Especially in pain. That is her true test." The pigeon thanked the angel and flew back to earth. When he found the little bird again, she looked at him with anxious eyes. "What did God say?" she asked. The pigeon gently repeated the angel's message. At first the little bird didn't understand. "How can I thank God when my life is full of suffering?" she asked. But after a long silence she made a decision. "No matter what happens, I will say those words." The next morning the hot ash burned her feet as she tried to stand. She whispered, "Thank you, God, for everything." Later that day thick smoke made her cough. Still she said, "Thank you, God, for everything." When hunger twisted her stomach, thank you, God, for everything. When the cold night wind shook her fragile body, thank you, God, for everything. Days passed. Then something strange began to happen. One morning dark clouds gathered above the forest. Soft rain began to fall. Cool drops touched the dry ground. Tiny green leaves began growing from the black soil. A small puddle of fresh water formed near the bird's tree. For the first time in a long time the bird drank clean water. As the days continued, her feathers slowly began growing back. Stronger. Shinier. Her wings felt lighter. Healthier. One morning she spread her wings. And felt something she had not felt in a long time. Strength. She flapped them once. Then again. And suddenly she lifted off the ground. She was flying. Higher and higher her voice returned. And she sang the most beautiful song the forest had heard since the fire. 10 days later the white pigeon flew over the forest again. But he could not believe his eyes. The once burned forest was now green. Flowers were blooming. Water sparkled under the sunlight. And the little bird was flying happily in the sky. The pigeon rushed back to heaven. He found the angel and said, "You told me she had 10 more years of suffering. But it has only been 10 days. Her life has completely changed." The angel smiled gently. "Yes," she said. 10 years of suffering were written in her destiny. But gratitude burned those years away. When someone truly says thank you, God, for everything in every situation, they transform their destiny. Back on Earth, the little bird continued flying freely. She had learned a secret many humans forget. Gratitude is not only for when life is perfect. Gratitude is what makes life change. So remember this simple truth. When life becomes difficult, when things do not go your way, when the road becomes dark, say it from your heart. Thank you, God, for everything. Because sometimes gratitude can change a destiny that once seemed impossible.